I mean, to be completely honest with you, if the apocalypse crapped out a motorcycle, this is what it would be. 179.4 divided by 3.2. TG MotoRider, and I wanted to do a review of my Suzuki VStrom 650. Right now I still keep 3. I've got a VTX 1300. I've got a Thunderbird Triumph 1600, which I love. And then I got this. The first thing you're going to notice about it is a very windy day. Okay? But even so, I'm not really being battered by the wind that much. You know, kind of placid right in here. It kind of creates an air bubble around you. Now, Suzuki says they developed this bike in a wind tunnel. I'm sure that's true. You know, this bike's touring capability is legendary. Sorry, but it is. You know, I've had a long succession of cruisers. This is my first adventure bike. So I wanted the fuel range. You know, 5.3 gallon tank, and the 650cc motor gives you 66 fuel injected horses, and you know, a really good fuel range. You know, so if you got a 5.3 gallon tank, I've been averaging 55 miles per gallon. You know, that's 270 miles before you need to kind of be concerned. Okay, I've never owned an adventure bike. I had all cruisers. Then on the Lark, I see this thing. Now the first thing I'm thinking is, it's kind of freaky looking. It's not the prettiest thing you ever set eyes on. You know? It's not going to win any beauty contests. You know? So you know what? I grabbed the keys and I got on it. And here's what impressed me. I have never been on a bike with such soft suspension in my life. This thing on the highway, over bumps, over gravel, over dirt, over mud, it just eats it. .9 inches of travel in the front, 6+ inches of travel in the rear. Very soft, plush ride. Now I took the halogens out and I put LEDs in, but the headlights on it were very good. The halogens were good anyway, you know, but I just replaced them because I wanted a little more. I ride at night a lot, so I wanted that extra comfort zone. So you got 2 twin piston calipers on the front, 2 discs. Great stopping power, ABS. I absolutely adore that. You got 1 giant piston on the back. The other thing I'm going to say is when you brake on this thing, even though you have tall front forks, when you brake on this thing, see the front dive isn't that much. This thing came with giant bags. I got a picture. But when you put the giant metal bags on it, it's this wide. I mean, it's almost as wide as a car. And then when you put that topper on it, it's a lot of wind resistance that I don't need. I travel a little lighter. Now, I have used them before if I've had to, you know, make long runs. You know, it's good to have that. But this has been a decent setup for me, just having the light bags on it. I don't like being super wide, so, you know, this is the way I ran. You got the O-ring sealed chain there, which I oil pretty much every week. I ride 2 up on this. Me and my lady jump on this thing, and we take this before we take any of our cruisers. You know, primarily because, you know, the suspension on this is quite good. Even with 2 on it, it's really very good. Now I know the 1000cc is, I think it's a 1050, is a wheelie poppin' monster. This is not. 66 fuel injected horses. You know, my 0 to 60's a little over 5 seconds. So you're not going to win any land speed records with it. It's not nearly as fast as my Triumph 1600. My 1600 Triumph is a 107 foot-pound of torque monster, but this thing is still quite good, even with 2-up riding. When I do put this back thing on it, there's a nice backrest for my wife to ride on. She loves that. This is great. This adjuster is so perfect. 6 settings, 6 presets. I usually set it on 5 if we're 2-up riding with gear. No issues. The fuel range, phenomenal. Now I've put 3,000 miles on this bike. I bought this bike, what, 6 months ago. I bought it 6 months ago. I put 3,000 miles on it so far, but it is one of 3 bikes I have, so I kind of split the miles over all my bikes, and I ride every day. I ride to work, but this, out of all my motorcycles, this is my daily grinder. This is the one I grind out on the highway with, for a lot of reasons. It actually does have really good highway presence. You're sitting pretty high up. You've got great visuals. These rear view mirrors make things very, very easy to see. And of course, you know, as soon as I buy it, it goes out and gets itself a tramp stamp, which, you know, I was trying to keep this classy, but I will. So this is my baby. I really enjoy it. I've had it through the water. Pretty sure I fried the action camera. If I didn't fry the action camera on this, I've taken it through the mud and the gravel. I ride a lot of river roads. And you got a 150 on the back. You have a 110 on the front. Now, a 110 is kind of narrow. I'm not wild about that. You know, I don't like a narrow tread patch. You know, see some bikes have a 90. I'm not wild about a narrow tread patch on my front wheel. I've never been comfortable with that. You know, I have a 140 on my one bike. You know, in the front. I like wider, fat tires because I do a lot of highways. But I can understand why you want the thinner, you know, taller wheel. This cuts through water and kind of slices through gravel pretty well. And even though it's a thinner, taller tire, even over thick rocks and bumps, which I've had it tracks pretty well. You stand up on the pegs, the nose is bouncing up and down, but it does track through there really well. Anyway, if you're on the fence about getting a VStrom, man, get off the fence. This thing is so versatile. I guess that's the key. Versatility and comfort, you kind of get them both. So I don't know if it's a good beginner bike. I think it's too tall for a beginner. I think that would intimidate people. If you're a new rider, sitting up high like that might bother you. That's my review of the VStrom 650 TG MotoRider. Signing off.